All right, it is time for our first Victory Monday of 2024. Let's welcome in your host, Walter Mitchell.
Thank you, Kyle Little Rock Ledbetter. Oh, there's joy in Mudville today. After just one of the most delicious treats of a game to watch as a Cardinals fan, particularly after 9 long years of losing at home to the Rams, and hopefully we've started to reverse the Arians' curse. When he woke up a sleeping giant. Um, with some remarks on national TV about how typically mediocre at best the Rams had been, and up to this point, for the last 9 years at home, it's been rough going. Um, and it was so wonderful to play a game without Aaron Donald in that mix, and the Rams who were beat up coming in, and the Cardinals took full advantage, and boy, oh boy, what a just plethora! I would call it a bonanza of big time plays in a game um, that I chronicled on Revenge of the Birds this morning. I have all the videos up, and Kyle is going to take us through the videos too, and we'll discuss them as they come. So, wow, a 41-10, stunning, beautiful, lovely win for the Cardinals in Glendale at State Farm Stadium, which we might have to change if this continues. Maybe we ought to change the name of State Farm Stadium to Marvin's Gardens. And if the Cardinals can have a monopoly of wins at home suddenly, that would be just fantastic. But that's a big if. We'll talk about next week's challenge later on. But let's get to yesterday, starting with the fantastic touchdown pass from Kyler Murray to Marvin Harrison Jr. So out of the shotgun here, the Rams are showing cover two, like the Bills were doing last week. And boy, oh boy, what a dime that Kyler Murray threw into the back of the end zone at the perfect place. What great body control Marvin Harrison shows here in getting both feet tiptoes down at the catch point. And then just a Velcro catch. Look at how that little margin of that little window right in there. Yeah, point to it, Kyle. That window. That's how, it's like they say a game of inches. Look at that. And look at Marvin's body control there. Look at his focus on the football. And all of it had to happen bang, 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 perfectly. And man, what an eruption of joy and relief to think that this young man has started to arrive in the NFL this soon. So 7-0 start. The Cardinals are starting fast and furiously in games. This is so impressive. Last week they had kind of they scored on their first 3 possessions, which was rarity. And you have to go back years to where that happened. And now I think, Kyle, they scored on their first 4 possessions in this game. And we'll keep chronicling them. But here is the completion probability of 13.7%. The most improbable touchdown of the 24 season so far. Harrison had 0.7 yards of separation and was 0.7 yards from the sideline when the pass arrived. Incredible statistics on that. And you got to give Kyler and MHJ tremendous credit for this precision timing. And notice how effortlessly Kyler threw the ball in this situation too. Wow, look at that. And fortunately, they did it. Notice how shorter route it was as a post. And so they ran it to the near post to avoid the other safety being able to help. Notice how he doesn't get there in time. So they know it's a 50-50 ball when they throw it if they're able to keep the safety on the other side out of the play. Tremendous start to the game. Next up, we get a big sack from Dennis Gardeck. We're going to roll this one. Look at how he blows through the running back, Kyron Williams. Look at his get off on that edge. And, wow, he got the outside shoulder, cleared it, and ran right through the running back. I think a waggle, and this is the best waggling execution I've seen from Kyler to date. Look at that. So, and look at where they're selling the run this way. He's got a command there. They're kind of pinning these other defenders down. And then notice the depth of the waggle. Now the waggle would stop right in the middle. And they did this many times in the game to real perfection. But Kyler saw that he could drift and turn it into a full bootleg with pass options galore. And look at him here, just see downfield to Marvin Harrison Jr., who's doing the deep crosser. What a perfect pass, perfect catch. And this effort to get into the end zone is absolute control. That was Larry Fitzgerald-esque, if you've ever seen Larry play. I mean, Larry had such ball control in his hands to reach out. And, amazingly, Harrison did not get a knee down. Of course, it helped that he could get one on the defender and carried it all the way through. Look at that. He's on the 5-yard line when he starts to go down, but he gets a hand down and
But
then is able
also
to.
beyond that, what yard line is he at when the defender first makes contact? Like, looks like maybe
Correct.
the 10,
The
the
10.
9.
Right. Right.
Let's
So
see,
he's
right
riding him
about
all the way through.
there. So that's
It's like a sleigh ride.
Marvin's at the 9.5 yard line. The defender is
Right.
at about the 11, but
Right.
Marvin's at the 9.5 yard line, and he's able to drag him to the 5,
Right.
and then somehow make an extension into the end zone, going one step
Correct.
from the 5 yard line to the end zone.
And I had read, some of you probably have read this, he was tracked at over 20 miles per hour on his rack run after catch on this play. There it is, max speed of 20, which was right up there amongst all players in the NFL yesterday in terms of speed. Now, Harrison's speed, he accumulates. So that's something, these deep crosser passes he's made to order for. And like the skinny posts that he ran for the first TD, he's made to order for because he's going to gather speed. And what a breakout performance in this first quarter. And he had all his catches and yards, 130 yards in the first quarter. Amazing. And after the game, he was like lamenting the 4 targets he missed with Kyler and was vowing to get that straightened out. That's the kind of competitor he is. He's a perfectionist. So, but wow, one of the greatest first quarter receiving performances in Cardinals history, no doubt. So now what happens next? We got the 14-0 lead. The Rams get the ball back. And look at this. Garrett Williams and Budda Baker with a huge play to stop the Rams on 4th down. Look at Baker on this. Budda Baker is on a fast track to the Hall of Fame. He has been Mr. Cardinal since he arrived here. And yesterday he balled his tail off. I was saying on the board, pound for pound, no player in this game was quicker, more disruptive, and just played like a torpedo. And his coverage is on Cup down where he's good at covering in the flats and in the intermediate areas. We know he's not as gifted in deep, coverage. But here's what the Cardinals did in this game, which was very fascinating to me. I mean, Nick Rouse has been saying that he's been consulting Budda about ways in which Budda believes he can beat the defense. So they've had an ongoing conversation of this, going about this. But here was the strategy, was that they assigned Budda basically to 2 players. In running downs, he was assigned to Kyren Williams. And if you notice, look at the torpedo hits he made on Williams before he could get out of the backfield. That was incredibly awesome. And those kind of tackles are demoralizing. I mean, as it was, that led to the first time I've seen in a long time, the Cardinals shutting down the Rams running game because Budda was targeting Williams right in the areas where Williams has gashed us in the past. Well, and timed it up so well and got there so fast that you got like 2 tackles for losses out of it from the middle safety spot. Amazing. So, that strategy for the Cardinals was a winner. And, ask anyone in the NFC West who plays the Cardinals who they fear the most, who's the most intimidating, and who's the guy they got to know wherever he is on every snap. It's Budda Baker. And he proved once again. And he's played this way ever since he strapped it up for the Cardinals. And wow, what a performance. I'd give him the defensive MVP with Gardeck because, wow, he came to play, led the team in tackles again. But they were all huge tackles, like this 4th down tackle on Cooper Kupp, which was, at that time in the game, you don't want to give the Rams hope like the Cardinals did with the Bills last week. And at that time in the game, they still had Kupp. And, we're missing 2 of their original starting offensive linemen, the center and the left tackle. But they have 2 potential Pro Bowl guards, and they have a Pro Bowl right tackle in Rob Havenstein. So, the Rams, if they got some momentum going in this game, they could have made this very interesting. But the Cardinals got on them early and often, and their strategies worked, and they stifled that running game, and they wound up only rushing, I think, for 53 yards in the game. That was huge. I mean, with those guards, they should have been able to run the ball more often because they're both really good. But Budda was the answer. And so we get the ball back, and then, oh my God, let's watch this.
Snap to throw count, and it was about 8.89 seconds snap to
Correct.
throw, which is incredible amounts of time to be able to buy. And if you watch the playback again, he still is about 6 yards behind the line of scrimmage at that point. So say
Yeah,
Higgins isn't able to shake himself free or he's still blanketed in coverage. Kyler has the time and space to run for the first down on 3rd and 5 on this play
right.
too. So
Yeah,
8 point. Mhm.
right. Look at the green grass right ahead of him.
He could have
Now,
absolutely ran for the first down, 10 seconds in the pocket. It's absolutely
right.
incredible.
Just a breathtaking play. This now means 3 possessions, 3 touchdowns. It's just awesome. Just at the beginning of the second quarter. I mean, look at the coaches going crazy. I mean, wow. It's just. And by the way, this kid Higgins, what a pickup for the Cardinals. He's Xavier Thomas as well. Maybe Gannon's right. Maybe that the pass rush isn't as down as people think. Look at the coverage across here, gang. And they're picking up men. They're doing what they're supposed to do. They're picking up men. When you're in zone, it's man to man. Oh, and look at this. You're chasing here with Budda. So, this is a combo man zone scheme that's working really well. Um, Look at hat on hat over here on the right. So it's also a coverage sack because the coverage is really good. This was far better coverage than what we saw against the Bills. Uh, thank goodness. So,
See right there on this play, you see Cup is designed to run an out, and that's the second read, I think, on the play. I think the first
yeah,
read he's going for is Kyron in the flat.
right. I'm kind of
But right
surprised
there,
Stafford didn't throw it right there.
see right there, he's got
Right.
probably a shot. I think that's Murphy Bunting right here.
Yeah,
I can't tell
it
for
is.
sure, but
It is. Yep.
right there he has a play, but that's right
Right.
when disruption right there in the
Right.
middle, and then Collins can come in for the sack. So has to
And
adjust his feet right there, thanks to this
right.
disruption coming up the middle. Again, I can't tell um if that's strong or if or I can't tell if that's Tonga or who that is rushing up the middle, but
Right.
disruption in the middle makes him reset his feet, and then
Right.
Zaven's there for the sack. Oh, it's Bilal
Exactly.
Nichols.
Yep. Good job, Bilal. Way to get off that block. Yeah, Murphy Bunting played that. It's interesting because off a Cup's first cut, they had a window there. But now I know why Stafford didn't throw it because they had the comeback. So fake out comeback to the middle. And you need time to let that develop and incoming tackle. Perfect. Now let's watch this one more time. I want to see Kelvin Beachum on this play. All right, watch this. Look at that. So I got in a kind of battle on Twitter with all the negative fans saying how Beachum is washed out. It's terrible. Look at that. Look at that. That's a wall he set up right there. And look at PJJ on Jared Verse. Look at this. They're both locked down on that play. And I went back and looked. You may not know this, but Kelvin Beachum, in over 2,000 snaps as for the Cardinals at tackle, has given up 14 sacks. Just 14. That's a 98.7 success rate. It's a phenomenal stat. And people underestimate this guy. This guy is the epitome of football character. It's a couple double, some two running back sets. very effectively. Benson's a good blocker. Look at the block on Hecht. And look at the seal down by Paris Johnson. Look at that seal down. He's got two guys taken out. But boom. Hat on a hat here from Benson, taking out the corner or the safety. Or actually the inside linebacker. Look at that block. Benson's going to get a good blocking grade from PFF. I'll tell you that right now. And Connor scooting into the end zone. Look at this block here by McBride. He just takes the guy out. Boom. Beautiful. That's precise execution. And these are some exotic, 12, 13 personnels, which actually, that could have been a 22 personnel. You know why I'd be 22? It actually is. So you got two tight ends and you got two runners. So the first number is the running back. So like a 13 personnel is one running back, three tight ends. So in this case, wait a minute, pause this. This is a 32. I mean, a 23. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. This
I
is a
think you're
2
right.
back, 3 tight end set. And look at the execution they get off of it. Oh, fantastic. And look at how they put, by the way, did you see the motions the Cardinals were using in this game? Unlike last week, suddenly we're using the teammate, and Golden was in the building yesterday as part of the Red Sea. Now on this one, after setting up the left tackle a couple times and turning the corner on him, watch how Gardeck fakes outside and comes hard inside. This is a nice counter move by Gardeck, which every rusher needs. You need to have a couple inside moves, couple outside moves. Let's roll this one more time to
Yeah, it's
watch.
buffering right now. I'll give it a second.
Yeah. So this shows us the Gardeck's diversity of rushing moves, and he's been really good at this inside move for a while now. Even when he was first pass rushing, he had this one down. He must have learned this at Sioux Falls. Well, anyway, it came fat there. Yeah, see, there he is coming inside the tackle and gets a clean shot at Stafford. To Stafford's credit, he wanted to play the whole game. He's one tough cookie. Guy is a winner. And he would have been really disappointed because no quarterback prepares his O-line for blocking schemes better. He does it with his O-line every week. Kyle Sloter, who used to, play a little quarterback for the Cardinals, told me in an interview one time that when he got poached by the Lions to go be a backup to Stafford, he said Stafford was unbelievable with the offensive line and coordinating all the protections every week and tweaking them. And he's a consummate pro, and you got to tip your cap to him. And he played the whole game despite the pounding he took. All right, so here we go. 31-3. Notice this is a okay. So it is a 13 personnel. 1, 2, 3. We're in a 13 personnel. Well, notice how Marvin is lined up in the slot. How creative is that? Go ahead. This is just, oh my God. I mean, I don't know if you got goosebumps watching this in real time. I did. I mean, look at this. All right, so here's McBride. He's going to get his release and run a corner. And the Rams defend it pretty dang well. Look at the switch of these guys. Good job on Verse doing they're doing a twist up front. Out and he's not touched. Notice, oh, it's 0 coming in. That's not Verse. It's
I think that's Brian Young.
Yeah, Bryant Young, who's a damn good player. Notice right here, you got Froholt taking the switch and got to him. Look at him. That's big. And Evan Brown has been playing well. Is closing down on the X-Man. It's just beautiful football. Beautiful football. Look at Will Hernandez. You're not going anywhere. I dare you to try to rush up. So what are you having for dinner? I don't know. You know, what do guys talk about when they're just standing there locked? Will Hernandez. Extend the man, please. Extend him. He's core. He is special. He got called on a hold. That was a rarity. But it didn't matter because the Cardinals were relentless. Oh, and here's the fluky. I thought you can't score a touchdown on a forward fumble, but it counted.
And that's it.
Victor, that was awesome. Oh, the sweet taste of victory, particularly over the Rams. Now, I want to share with you a quick story that I think is apropos. This is Susie Superfan. Love her stuff on Twitter. She is, look at her.
Friend of the show, too. She's been on this podcast a number of
She
times.
certainly has. We'll have to get her back soon because she's amazing. And she's so fired up yesterday. She was showing videos of the fans going crazy after Marvin's first touchdown, etc. And what she says now, she's like saying, now we got to get serious about those Lions coming in next week and want to see all the Red Sea back and in full throttle for the big matchup versus the Lions next week. But so I was thinking about this yesterday for some reason, sort of a story of a teaching story that I had that seems appropriate to share. So when I was at Avon Old Farm School, private boarding school for boys, we had actually, yeah, we had a young man named Arnold Bukov who was in my dorm. I was a dorm supervisor. I was an English teacher and football, basketball, and golf coach at Avon. So we coached every season there, and we tucked the kids in at night, got them out of bed in the morning. Arnold was this sleepy kid who was always reading comic books in his room. His father was a physics professor at Cornell or something amazing to that effect. And Arnold had come because he wasn't the most disciplined student, and the father wanted him to get some, one-on-one help and supervision, which we were famous for, etc. And and he was a manager for me on one of my teams. Would bring water and would do all the little stuff that we needed. he was really fun doing that. Um, but he had this special kind of language. Like I remember one day he came late to practice with the water. I'm like, Arnold, what's up? And he goes, well, gee, I'm sorry, Mr. Mitchell, but my alarm clock malfunctioned and I just was late. And I said, oh, I'm sorry, Arnold. We'll make sure you get that fixed. He goes, yeah, I will. But it didn't surprise me because I'm sure he curled up with the latest comic book and was probably dozed off. But so anyway, he comes to me in like the day before his last final exam for extra help, and it's in geometry. And I figure the son of a famous physicist professor would, sort of knows a little something about math. Except no, he comes in, he goes, Mr. Mitchell, I really need to ace the geometry exam tomorrow or I'm gonna fail the course. I said, you Arnold in geometry? Yeah, I'm just never quite got it. I said, really? That's shocking to me. Someone of your intelligence. And he said, yeah. So we have this big question for you. I said, okay, sit down. And he goes, are the uh, um, are the opposite sides of a parallelogram congruent? Or actually, he said rhombus. Are the opposite sides of a rhombus congruent? So I said, okay, let's draw it. I drew out the rhombus. And then he goes, I said, so what do you think? What does it look like? He goes, I don't know. So then I said, line them up with your fingers. See if it's the same distance. He goes, what? I said, yeah, line them up. What do you think? Is it the same distance? Are they congruent? He goes, does congruent mean equal? I go, Arnold, you've been sitting in geometry for a full year and you don't know that congruent means equal? He goes, no, I never figured that. It was like gears just suddenly slid completely into place. And the next day I get a knock on my door and he goes, oh, Mr. Mitchell, thanks a lot. I got a 98 on the geometry exam. I was like, you got to be kidding. This is awesome, Arnold. He goes, yeah, I'm passing the class. I'm going to have to take it in the summer. I said, you're amazing. So, in a way, that's what this felt like for me yesterday for the Cardinals. It's like everything at once just clicked. It was awesome. It was like learning that congruent means equal. And, on equal sides of the ball, we saw big plays as we tried to charter for you here and chronicle for you here. Exhilarating plays, on schedule plays, off schedule plays, a whole lot of imagination on both ends. The keys for me in this game was assigning Budda Baker to Kyron Williams. Budda Baker shut the kid down. And that was a huge defensive determination in this game that made a profound difference. I don't know about you, but I think Williams got most of his yards on the first carry off tackle, which if you defend a Sean McVay offense, is their staple play, is the off tackle play. And so when that went for like 9 yards, I go, oh gosh, here we go again. But somebody had a plan, Nick Rouse, to get Budda on, next time around on the off tackle play. Budda was coming down the alley, storming the alley. And to his credit, would get there even before the line of scrimmage. Would meet him in the hole. And that was a really, really tremendous decision. And now teams are going to have to prepare for that because teams will try to play action off of that and then throw in behind where Budda vacated. So then they can anticipate that of how they're going to handle that in the future. But man, what a great decision that was. And then on offense, I thought, seeing as the Rams got pounded on the ground against in week 1 by the Lions, I thought maybe we just ought to just run the ball, stick to that very in a committed fashion. But look at what they did. They had such a striking balance between running the ball and passing the ball, to where, I mean, look at these stats, gang. Look at these stats. It's just a beautiful thing. I mean, Kyler Murray with the perfect quarterback rating of 158.3, 17 to 21, 266, 12.7 average. When have we seen that lately? 3 TDs, no interceptions, 1 sack for 8 yards, and a QBR of 98.2, which is his highest QBR ever. Wow. Been rushing the ball 40 times, 200. So we did rush the ball a lot, 40 times versus 21 passes. And we still got that done, 231 yards at 5.8. And the longest run was by Amari DiMercato for 41 yards. DiMercato had two rushes for 23 yards. Kyler, 5 rushes for 59 yards. James Conner, 21 for 122, 5.8. We got the running game back with Conner, with Murray, with DiMercato. Benson, 11 for 10, 0.9. Benson's, working it out. He's trying to find his way as a rookie. You can give him some slack there. But I'll tell you what, he earned his keep as a blocker in this game. He made a positive contribution. Didn't like the fumbled exchange between Toon and Benson later in the game, obviously causing the fumble. But by then, we weren't going to pass the ball. We were just going to run it and try to run out the clock. So it wasn't costly by any means. And, you never like to see it no matter where you are. And look at receiving. 266 yards. Harrison, 4 for 130, 32.5 average. Whoa, my God. Right? McBride, 6 for 67. That's better, 11.2. So, Wilson, 2 for 31. That one on the sideline was fantastic. Higgins, 1 for 18 and a TD. Dortch, 2 for 11, 5.5. Wasn't thrown too much, 2 on 2 targets. Benson, 1 for 7. Conner, 1 for 2.
If you do the math on the target shares, also, if you take out the Marvin Harrison Jr. throws, which we can bring back later, everyone else 13 for 13 for 136 yards and a touchdown. Absolutely perfect. 13 for 13 Kyler is throwing to the rest of the receivers.
That's a great eye. Yeah, and that's what Marvin said was like, I'm the only one who missed targets, so I'm going to go work on that. And then on the defensive, you got Budda Baker with 8 tackles, all 8. So 2 tackles for loss of pass defense. Kaiser White, 7 tackles total, 2 solo. Gardeck, 6 for 6, 3 sacks, 4 tackles for loss, 3 quarterback hits. What a day. JT, 3 solos. Barnes, 4 total, 2 solos. Starling Thomas, who I thought played a pretty good game. Mac Wilson, 4 solo tackles. 4 assists. Papo, 3 solo tackles. Max Melton, 2 solo tackles. Zaven Collins, 1 solo, 1 sack, 1 tackle for loss, 1 QB hit. Lopez, 2 tackles. Murphy Bunting, 2. Victor, 2. Julian Okwara got 2 assists. Justin Jones had a tackle for loss. That's big. He looked better and active. You can start getting his production up. So Garrett Williams with a big tackle there, which we showcased with Budda. LJ Collier with the big, pass defense, and 2 quarterback hits, and a fumble recovery, which was nice. Really nice. So, Dortch on 2 punt returns, 15 average, 2 for 30. Gotta love Dortch. Gilligan, 1 punt for 60 yards. Gilligan's Island. Prater, 2 for 2. What a game. And now, now all eyes are on Detroit. It's a big game for 2 reasons. One, we have yet to see a Jonathan Gannon team win back-to-back games. This will be the opportunity to do that. And 2 is Jared Goff. Jared Goff. Oh my God. Where do we begin with Jared Goff? Like, last 8 games, he's won against the Cardinals, and not just won, but dominated. The most recent of which was that, upset in Detroit on the road, where it was the only road game in the regular season the Cardinals lost. And they dominated that game, and Goff was his classic self against the Cardinals. So wouldn't it be sweet to, now that we've took care of the McVay streak, if we can go back-to-back wins and take care of the Goff streak, and Goff, of course, is tied to McVay because a number of those wins were with him. That'd be sweet, and long time coming. So, Kyle, your parting thoughts?
I did very much enjoy the geometry story of you in boarding school and having everything click together. I was listening to the story. I'm like, I know Walter is a wonderful storyteller. I just couldn't figure out how the story was going to piece together until right at the end. And yeah, so much went right for the Cardinals that it's pretty unfathomable. The one other thing I'll point out is that if you take the Buffalo game and the Rams game together now, that's the first 3 drives of every game for the Cardinals this year have ended in 38 points. So if you go, it's 5 touchdowns, 1 field goal on the first 3 possessions of each game. And Petzing with the scripted plays when they have weeks to build it out has just been impeccable. Impressed even beyond expectation with what they've been able to do with that so far. I know it's small sample size, but Kyler Murray, highest passer rating any quarterback has recorded in any game this season. Currently second in the league in QBR, only behind Derek Carr, which is an incredible sentence to say at this point in the season, that Derek Carr is the unquestioned MVP of the league. It's just been fantastic offensive displays for the Cardinals so far. And you don't need 3 sacks from Dennis Gardeck or strip sacks or anything like that, but if the defense can just turn touchdowns into field goals or get stops at the goal line like they had against the Rams, this is definitely repeatable defensive performance. So obviously the sacks were a big deal, and the Rams offensive line didn't hold up as well as you might have expected going into the season for injuries and whatever reason, but it's repeatable performances for the Cardinals defense. You're looking for baby steps for defensive improvement, and beyond the big plays, if you can get 4th down stops, which they had 2 in the first half, and you can get touchdowns turned into field goals, you can have repeatedly successful defensive performances throughout the season.
And then those Lions, they've got their offensive line is top 3 in the NFL.
Top 3, and it's not number 2, and it's not number 3.
Yeah, top 3, top 1. Could be. I think they are the best offensive line in the NFL. So, got our hands full there, and you got Goff, who's been a total annoyance. And but you know what? We got some momentum going into this. As Sue said, we need a big turnout. We need fans to just jump on this team in a bandwagon way. And the crowd was just wonderful yesterday, and we got to keep that rolling. And crafty little plans that the Cardinals are making. Uh, that was a signature win for this season, and the question is, can they duplicate it? Well, maybe not. Maybe a game can't be this perfect all the time or near perfect, but the result can be similar. And um, and so, I mean, a lot to look forward to next week. Um, it'll be great to see a stack of win um, like this one on top of the Lions. How great that would be. What a statement that would be to start this season. So, thank you to Kyle Little Rock Ledbetter, as always, for his insights and for his, you know, production of the show, which included highlights this week. That was really fun to do and go through. And to all of you who continue to support the show by your viewership and comments, write us a comment in the comment section. Let us know what you think. Let us know what your thoughts are. Any questions you might have, rip them, get them to us, and we'll answer you back. But wow, we're 1-1. We're in second place, tied in the NFC West behind those pesky Seahawks, and tied with the 49ers, and the Rams are one game behind us. So it's kind of nice to say that. And with that, may the red rain shower down on you like it was showering down on Marvin Harrison Jr. yesterday into that red sea. Red rain.